topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the host and their guests, and not those of W4CS Radio, its employees, or affiliates. W4CS makes no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening to the Cancer Support Network on W4CS.com.
Welcome. It's Arti with Light Up Your Life, and it's the first Friday of September. And am I right about that? It's time is flying already, and I can't even remember if it's the first of our Septembers or not. But always a privilege to be here with you today. And I just want to take a moment to remind all of us. I know it's continued turbulent time, so I just want you to be mindful of what's happening to you on the inside and what's happening in your outside world. I know my own kids are back in school, and I've had a lot of nerve-wracking moments with how it's going to look, but I'm just reminded to stay present and mindful. And I know we're never sure of what's happening in our world, but we can definitely try to go inward and take care of our feelings and harbor that. I also want to encourage you to try not to get enmeshed into what's happening in the news and what others are doing, so that it doesn't deplete your energy. And what I mean is when it comes to discussion of mask mandates and vaccinations and who's not vaccinated and who is, try to stay out of that current or riptide or whatever you want to call it, because you can go down a cyclical path of looking at what others are doing and what's happening versus just trying to really focus on the decisions that you make for you, and of course the decisions that are happening with your family. And just I always say, how much can you contain in your four walls? Let's take care of that, and then I think everything propel forward. Well, everyone, exciting times today. So I think I discussed in one of our episodes that I got the opportunity to be a part of a really awesome program called Writing. It's an anthology, but a stories of these wonderful beings. And some of them are actually going to be on this episode today. And I really am humbled by the experience, because Mari Mitchell, who actually started this series, because this is volume 6, she basically started this work and has different topics. But finding your purpose, I think when we talked to some of our other presenters, it was really resounds for so many of us, and it came at the most perfect time. And I can't wait to share my own journey as we go through with everyone about what this experience has been like. So today's whole focus is on Dare to Be Authentic, Volume 6, Finding Your Purpose, and a book anthology. So for any of our guests who are here today, my fellow authors, if you don't mind hopping on so we can have a great conversation about our awesome experience and our involvement with this project. Hi, Julie.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me to join you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, Julie.
I love how you opened up, calling everybody to be in the present moment, touch base with the inner and outer world. That's wonderful.
Yes.
We all need that. I need that.
Yes, I know. We get sucked into the realm. I have one of our presenters had sent me her book, and also enclosed was the heart chakra, like this heart. So I always sometimes it helps me to stay centered. And I literally myself was on a call where a lot of people have a lot of strong feelings, not necessarily directed at me, but you could feel the ones that they were having so I could feel that energy, because of course you and I are going to talk about energy. So I could literally feel myself going through some energy shifts, and I literally just came back to wanting to get centered. Yes. So Julie, I usually introduce our guests, but I really just want you to start off by sharing who you are, what you do, before we even dive into the book. Like I said, I always normally give introductions for people, but I really want you to actually share what you want to share.
Well, I'm just an ordinary human being trying to make every day the best of my life and trying to inspire everybody else to have the best day of their life. And that is my mission. I am a certified Happy for No Reason trainer. The program actually was amazing and helped me shift my thoughts, my feelings, my attitudes, and really played a large role in my healing. I was very, very ill. And through the journey of being ill and healing, I also got involved in sound healing. And that was very powerful for me. And it is a very powerful tool. And I also trained and became certified as a sound healer. So those are my two main functions. And then they deviate a little bit because to me, healing and wellness is a holistic process that is ongoing. It shouldn't just be faced when we are ill. It should be faced on a daily basis, and it involves our mind, our heart, our spirit, our emotions, our body. I found that movement also played a great role in healing for me, because we do hold trauma in our fascia and muscles and tissues, and movement helps release that. And so I became a certified Qigong trainer. And I also work with drumming. And that has also been very healing for me, because rhythm entrains our body. So you can use the rhythm of a drum to take your neurological system and bring it from bring it back into the calmness of the parasympathetic nervous system. You know, you can take it from anxiety and unwind it and bring it down. It's like when we walk through a mall and we hear music. If the music is sort of upbeat and fast, we end up sort of walking in rhythm with the music, and we don't think about it. We don't say, oh, I have to walk in rhythm with music. It naturally happens. Our bodies get entrained to the rhythm. So I have trained in drumming and facilitation. And it's funny because I actually started training in drumming for recreational purposes, to do like recreational drum circles. And then I was so ill, I had to stop all of my activities. And when I went through the sound healing training and everything, I got back into drumming, but I got into drumming for healing instead of for recreation, for restoration. And I trained with a system called Health Rhythms that's been actually scientifically researched. And that developed a group protocol, but I do use the drum a lot in my healing sessions, and I still use it for myself to help regulate myself. And so that's what I do, is I keep myself well and try to share the wisdom I've gained through my journey with other people who are trying to be well and happy.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I just love it so much, because, you know, I mean, when you think about finding your purpose, it's amazing that it comes through like illness or right, like you have to have your world turned upside down, I guess.
Yeah. And one thing I wrote in the book, that we don't always find our purpose. Sometimes our purpose finds us.
That line did stuck out. It did. That line in particular stuck out for me when I read your chapter.
You know, we align with what we like to do, what makes us feel good, with what gives joy to other people when we share it. And when we start aligning in that way, the purpose just sort of floats down and embraces us, you know.
Totally.
So yeah, it was a really interesting project. And I got into it at a very busy time. And it's so funny because like the deadline, I only had like a couple weeks, and it was a very busy schedule for me at that time. And it was like 2 days from the deadline when I had to turn everything in. And I got so frustrated and I got angry at myself for making the commitment to be part of this project when my time was so short. And I started writing, and I wrote it, and I didn't like what I wrote. I didn't say anything about that. I gave it to my husband to read, and he read the first paragraph, and he says, "This is terrible. Start over." And, I mean, and we have a really open relationship with each other, to consult with each other and get each other's wisdom and advice. So I'm okay with that. And he knows I'm okay with that. And I knew that. I knew I didn't like it. I knew it wasn't right. So I was so frustrated, and I put that away, and I'm like, okay, like I have to do my own happiness training with myself now to change my attitude and create the energy that I needed to work on the project. Because you can't go into something like this and try to inspire people and be frustrated. Like the energy that you use to do something is the energy that transmits,
100%, 150%.
So I went into my head and says, okay, this is an honor. This is a beautiful opportunity to share my voice. And I need to treat it like it's something precious that I can give to other people through what I can share. So I reframe myself, and I do daily meditation. Well, I do twice a daily meditation, morning and night. And I meditated, and I went to God, and I'm like, okay, God, I really don't know what to write. I'm stuck. I need help, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to turn it over. And I turned it over to God, and I had a good night's sleep, and I got up in the morning, and I started writing. And I really didn't even think about what I was writing. I was channeling. And that's what came out.
Oh my gosh. I love your story of flow. I mean, first of all, thank you for being honest, because one of our discussion points is going to be how I think after this project for me, I always thought anyone could be a writer. We just block ourselves, right, from thinking we can do it. But I really appreciate you bringing up to our audience and whoever's listening that there is writer's block, and there's crap that's written down at times. I had the same moments, right? But then you sought this higher. You took some time, took some space, and look what came out. But yeah, flow. I love it.
Well, there's only two modes in life: survival mode and creative flow.
Yeah.
So we get to choose.
Yes, that's so true. Oh, I believe Kristian has joined us. Kristian, welcome.
Yay!
Hi, guys.
How are you?
I'm great. I think I hit the wrong link. So I was on YouTube watching, and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
I'm so sorry. I sent out massive links, and I need to stop doing. Well, and then I forget, and then I send out multiples.
No, you sent me the right thing. I just, for whatever reason, I clicked on the most recent one you sent, and that was the one we were supposed to share. So I was a little turned around with that, but I guess it's all good.
It's all good. It's what makes us human. Kristian, I told Julie, I always usually introduce guests, but I don't consider you guys guests in some ways. So, actually, I don't consider anyone a guest. I actually don't really like that. Maybe I'll change that wording, actually. But do you mind introducing yourself and what you do, and what just anything you want to share with our listeners and anyone who's going to tune in later to the recording?
Yeah, my pleasure. So I'm a holistic health and mindset coach. I live in Western New York near Buffalo. And this project was super cool. Like all of us, we were interviewed by Mari, and she invited us to get going on the book and be a part of that. So that was quite an honor. And for me, the guidelines for the book were a little bit intimidating at first. I don't remember ever writing 5,000 words at for one project, even in college or anything like that. So it was a little surprising and a little overwhelming at first. But once I started writing, it became clear that it was going to be pretty easy to come up with that many. And eventually I was asking Mari how far past 5,000 words I could go. So it's just been a really cool project. And I love that she's so welcoming and supportive, and I love all the stories. Everybody had something really inspirational to share with the world, and I think this type of project can change people's lives forever. Like, just one of the stories, if someone's feeling uninspired or down or feeling like they can't make any headway in life, just one of these stories might trigger or spark a flame within them and get them rolling in the right direction. So just it feels great to be part of something so positive and so uplifting and inspiring. So I'm just thrilled to be a part of this.
Yeah, no, thank you. I was thinking when you were saying that, I think you might be inspired to write an autobiography. If you can go past those 5,000 words, could be your next book project.
Perhaps. I've had a few people ask me to write a cookbook, so that might be my next project. We'll see.
Actually, that is a question that I have, you all. After writing this story of yours, when we talk about a little bit of Kristian, before you got on, we were just talking about flow and writing, and sometimes we all have writer's block. We were sharing, and then having flow and that expression. Now that you've done this and have one down your belt, what are you all thinking in terms of, would you do something like this again? Or are you ruminating, having things going on with thinking about further authorship?
Yeah, definitely. I started, I needed to switch my diet several years back to manage an autoimmune disorder. And in the process, I had to just sort of figure out from scratch how to make food that was healthy and right for me. And so just through trial and error, I basically figured out several ways of making great food without needing recipes. And so I think what I want to do with that is make a cookbook that has the recipes for the different meals and ways of cooking, but then also leaves it open to imagination and how to use the guidelines and the basics of how I built my own recipes to eat the foods that you really like, but you don't need a recipe all the time to do that. You can just kind of plug and play different ingredients into these recipes and make them your own. And so I try to keep everything really simple. There's probably going to be quite a bit of garlic in there. But just after completing this project and seeing how much easier it was to do than I had imagined, I think it's easy for me to imagine taking that next step and doing another writing project.
That's awesome. Julie, how about for you?
Well, I do have to say I am grateful for Mari's support, because she was wonderful to work with and very encouraging and supportive. And that kind of support does lend itself to wanting to do more. I've already had a book in the back of my mind that I've already started putting together content for before I did this project. And the book is actually about the rhythms of life. And it does talk about drumming and creating your own personal mantras or chants, affirmations to support yourself with your own needs in life and how to do that. And it is sort of a creative process. So like Kristian in his cooking, which is totally a creative process, it is another creative process that is healing. And Kristian, I have terrible food intolerances, and I've had to do what you do, is create my own recipes. And by trial and error, I went through 5 different diets to find out what my body can handle. The doctors couldn't help me. I had to do it myself. I actually have 3 dietary restrictions, that actually more that I follow. And so, yeah, I've learned to create my own recipes too. And I think that would be a wonderful thing to offer to people. But I have other things I want to offer to people. That's something I could offer them too, but we can't all do everything. So I really am a music person at heart. And so I'm going to go ahead and move forward with that. And then I also have another book concept already in mind that I want to do.
Cool. And that's so awesome, y'all, because I think why I bring this question up is because, I don't know about you all. I never imagined myself ever being part of a book. I thought it was for other people, right? A lot of this has been, this is for other people. Until you get involved and realize like Kristian, you just said, it's not as, I guess you do get to be creative. So then the outpouring just starts to happen because you give yourself permission. So I think hearing you all say that once you give yourself permission to do this, then I think you open those floodgates to more coming and more with it.
Yeah. But that applies to everything in life, not just like writing a book. It's like you have to give yourself permission to accomplish and envision, and believe that it's possible, and then you can do anything.
Totally. So your title, so book chapters, we're not trying to give away everything for everybody, but Kristian, your title for your chapter, It's Never Too Late Towards Discovering Purpose. And then Juli, I just had your title. My Purpose is Peace. Sorry. My Purpose is Peace. So for you all, how hard was it for you to come up with the title for your chapter? And then just describing that creative expression for the choice of your title.
Go ahead, Juli.
My title fell on my paper. Like, I have been working with my own inner soul to try to be peace in every situation that I can, in every encounter, and regardless of what's going on in my life. In fact, the definition of happy for no reason in the Happy for No Reason program is happiness is an inner state of peace and calm. I like to say an inner state of peace and resilience, because resilience is the follow-up you need to keep doing to get it, to have it. It's a practice. It's a daily quest for me. So as I worked on it, on the book and the script and writing it, it just fell into place. I didn't have to think of it. Again, it was part of that divine inspiration, I guess.
That's a beautiful title. Well, all of them are, but they just speak volumes for what you read. Kristian, what about for you?
Yeah, I had written the entire chapter. Didn't know we were going to have a title for it. And then I got an email from Mari, and she was like, hey, we want to title these things. And I was like, And the name of the book was running through my head. And then I just sort of came to realize that, I'll be 50 here in about a month and 5 days. So that struck me as something that seemed important, because even as I being over the hill, as they say, it's, I think a lot of people feel like once they've gotten to their 40s or 50s, they're sort of stuck in the direction that they built for themselves. And I see this with family members, friends, acquaintances. They just feel like they're beyond the ability to take a risk and find something more meaningful in their lives. And I think that's just based in the bullshit, stories and things that society teaches us about what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to, fit all of these societal parameters through our lives, and we're supposed to, by my age, I'm supposed to have already figured out what I wanted to do and been doing it. And so it just sort of stood out to me that even at my age, I can transform my life and become an utterly different person by changing some mindsets and embracing things that are real and important and genuine and authentic and vulnerable, and so the journey I've gone through, I don't know that I would have been able to do it at a younger age because I didn't have the right mindset for it. So I guess that's really where it came from. It's just like it feels like I'm breaking rules by transforming at a later age. It's just we're taught that you're already supposed to have stuff figured out by this age, and I certainly thought I had things figured out. And then you kind of wake up and get a different perspective on life from books and other people. And I'm just a super, super lucky guy that I was able to figure that out.
Kristian, I love that title. I'm 64. It's never too late. I agree. I've completely transformed and reinvented myself too through my illness and journey. So never too late. And again, when it comes to purpose, I don't think it's like you go through school and you graduate and you're like, I know what I'm going to do now for the rest of my life. And I put this in the book. I feel like purpose is like a revolving door, and it changes in our life depending on our circumstances. And at one point I was so sick, and I went to like this self-help group thing, and they were talking about how we all had to decide our purpose. And like, I was so sick, I couldn't even make it through the day half the time. And how could I even think of a purpose? And like, it gave me anxiety. It actually triggered anxiety in me because like everybody else came up with these grand purposes that were going to serve the world. And it was like, oh my God. I'm like, and I'm like, I don't feel like I belong in this group. But I realized when I wrote this for the book, I realized that at that time in my life, my purpose was to shift, change, and heal. Not just the illness of my body, but the illness of my mind and the beliefs that don't serve me anymore, and all that stuff that you said, Kristian, about what society expects from you, and that you think you got to keep going with what you totally. I totally get it.
Yeah.
So true. I had a professor in my counseling program. He was so awesome. He's this older gentleman, but he said we just need to get rid of the shoulds, the coulds, and the woulds, right? Because those are the three words that will get your clients into trouble because they're obviously doing past, present, right? And it has stuck with me forever because it's the truth. We're always somewhere else, dreaming of something else, but we just forget right here in this moment of what just to start to look at what tunnel vision might look like and how we could kind of take it on. But yeah, we're society. The idea behind us always trying to fit in the mold, And then I always ask people, who are the Joneses? Do you know them? Because I certainly have I don't know the Joneses. So who are you trying to keep up with? Because I've never had neighbors that are Joneses. I've maybe one person that I know that's a Jones, but so helping people to understand, to break this idea of, and I think this book really can help do that, right? When you're like literally telling people, oh, I'm 64, or I'm hitting 50, or I'm hitting 40. Like, what is it? It's not age normative. It's about when it comes. It doesn't have to be by age. It doesn't have to be by class. It doesn't have to be by color, like creed, the list. I think that's what this book kind of reminded me of, is if we can get that into people's hands. Like,
Yeah. And I think also that all the challenges that we go through are actually an opportunity for us to gain wisdom and grow so that we are more in tune with our purpose, and we evolve into a new purpose because of that sometimes, so all those challenges, we instead of letting them destroy us, we have to let them elevate us.
yes, totally.
Yeah, and your mention about the should, woulds, and coulds from this professor, is that what you said? Professor? It just reminds me of this book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Oh, love it so much. It's been a while since I read that, but I love it. I still stuck, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just it's amazing how much happier and content we can be if we're just present, aware, grounded, and not trying to figure out what happened in the past or stressing endlessly about what's supposed to happen in the future. And it's curious how, again, it sort of just goes back to society teaching us these things that aren't real. Like, you have to worry about things you did in the past, and you have to worry about your future, or you'll just turn into nothing. And so it's like there's just a lot of false narratives, false beliefs. I know there were tons and tons of things I believed my whole life that weren't even true when I learned them. And so they're certainly not true now. And so being present and just as he says, it is a power to be in the now.
Totally. That resonates so strongly, because we talk about it a lot, but it's something, like Juli says, every day, right? The idea behind, you start off every day and you really find that solace in knowing that it's a new day and it has its own purpose and it goes through that. But yeah, I mean, I think we just revolve around the idea that it's a constant shift all the time, that you have to bring back yourself. Like, you have to reel yourself in all the time.
Agreed.
Yeah. Juli, can you share, because you do so much with sound healing, which, I with my clients, and especially with children, I always discuss the use of binaural beats, especially for kids with ADHD, all the time. I tell their parents to introduce it if they haven't already. All the teachers, I say play it in the background. It's good for all students. So can you talk to us a little bit about sound healing and what it looks like? And if you even want to play us something, that'd be awesome.
Well, yes, binaural beats are wonderful. The sound in itself is very, very healing. It's all energy, it's all vibrations and it's energy, and we're all made of energy, and the sound penetrates our body. And so the different frequencies can influence us in different ways. It can calm us down. It can activate us if we're like depressed and not motivated and we need to break out of being stuck. Like, how music, even just regular music, like binaural beats are really powerful because they really affect the brain. But even regular music, how powerful, you got to do your housework, you put on something really upbeat to get you going. And just, if you think about it, we have been exposed to sound healing from the moment we were conceived by hearing the rhythm and heartbeat in the womb that we were so conscious with. And the heart of the baby is the first thing that's formed before the brain, is the heart. And so, and then the baby's born, and then what happens? The mother is like cooing at the baby, and oh, you're so beautiful. I mean, like that's all like sound therapy. You know, how good does it feel now, even as an adult, if somebody comes up to us and goes, oh, my beautiful baby. I mean, like, it's going to make you feel really good. It's going to change. It's going to release serotonin and feel good chemicals in your body. It's all therapy, you know? So my first thing I got into was singing bowls. And, you know, the microphones don't always pick up when you play it like this. I don't know if that's picking up.
It is, yeah.
But it's actually hard to learn how to do that. And the singing bowl responds to your level of energy. So every time you play it, it's going to sound different, even though it's the same tone and the same bowl, because it's responding to your energy. And you have to be really patient and learn how much friction to use. So it involves your sense of, feel and proprioception and, audible sense. And so it's just really powerful. And I've always been into drumming, and I actually started creating like chants for myself to lift myself up. And I found that drumming really worked on my neurological system. I had medication that really wired me up. And then I developed extremely severe sensitivity to electromagnetic frequency, which I still have to manage to this day. And the rhythm of the drum can change my neurological system. When you play it really fast, it wires you and jacks you up and activates you. So if you're like really anxious, so this is for the people who are helping those children with ADD or anxiety. You can play what you feel. Aggravated, frustrated. And then you just start, oh no, I'm not going to be aggravated, frustrated. I'm going to be calm. And you change your rhythm. And you force it. Force changing the rhythm, even if it doesn't feel like what you want to do. And what happens is it entrains and it slows your system down and helps it to unwind. I've actually had some really powerful experiences with autistic children, working with them with the sound frequencies. I use tuning forks on acupuncture points blended with traditional Chinese medicine. And it's amazing how they can open up. And I've actually worked one-on-one with the autisms, but actually got to a point where we could actually drum as a group with like mom and me and the child, which is really good for an autistic child to be able to engage. So that's really powerful. And I would create chants for myself. And one of them was, and this chant was already after I went through a lot of healing and I felt empowered. And so let me see if I could do this. Stand in my power and I know who I am. I stand in my power, my body's strong again, strong again. I stand in my power and I know who I am. I stand in my power, my mind is clear again, clear again. I stand in my power and I know who I am. I stand in my power and my heart is love again, love again, love again. I stand in my power and I know who I am. I stand in my power, my spirit's free again, free again, free again. And that's in the book. I talk about that in the book.
Oh my goodness.
That's wonderful, Julie.
That's so awesome.
So
While
that's
you were
what my
reading-
book's going to, that's what the book I want to write about is doing all these chants, and it's going to have audio. It's going to have audio with the drumming chants, and then it's going to have a complete section to guide people into creating their own.
Oh my gosh, love it so much. Well, you all, Mari's with us. Welcome, Mari.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Better late than never, huh?
Hi, Mari.
Hey, look at all those smiling faces. That makes me very happy.
We were singing your praises earlier.
Aw, that was beautiful, Julie. Wow. It's very powerful. I could feel it.
Good. That's what you're supposed to do is feel it. It's supposed to feel. And you know what I find is I always felt like when COVID came up and everything went on Zoom, I'm like, how am I going to do this stuff? But you know what? It works.
Yeah, that's right.
The energy, like totally, there's no bounds to where the energy can go.
So true.
You know,
I'm so glad you did talk about that because I feel like a lot of the strongest relationships for me even have just come in the last 2 years. So,
yeah.
you know, I mean, yeah. So the transmission of energy for sure. Mari, can you share how you came up with your awesome title of My Magical Journey to Purpose? And of course, Mari Mitchell, contributing author, she has her chapter is at it's the last one, but yeah, you can, yeah. So there's, I asked everybody this question: where did you come up with your title, and was it hard to do?
I had actually a different title, which I don't remember now. It was very blah.
That's why you can't remember it.
That's why I can't remember it. But then after I finished my story and I realized how many magical things, universe intervenes really beautifully so many times. And sometimes we don't even realize what is happening, but later when we reflect on it, we're like, wow, that happened, and then that happened. Even my radio show came about in a really magical way. Mm-hmm. And then the Dear to Be Authentic books also. So that's where it came from. And I thought, well, I hope it's not too woo-woo and out there, but it's how I felt. Because if we're open to whatever universe does, whether you call them miracles or magic or whatever name you use, if you're open to being guided, you're going to have those experiences, and they are magical and they are beautiful and they move us forward. And of course, not to take away from the things that we don't like to experience in our life as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are going to be there. That's just life. I call it, that's life. That's, what happens in life. Good things happen to us. Things we don't like happen to us, and we just keep going. But tuning into inspiration, that's always been one of the things that I learned and that I try to teach people. Really tune into yourself and your inspiration, and you'll have that guidance.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Did you know going in, you're at volume 6, did you know when you started that first volume how far you would want to go into this anthology series?
I didn't start it as a volume. I just started it. And I had no idea. I thought it was a one-time thing. I had no idea there would be more books. And so I don't say I'm going to do a book a year every 2 years. I wait for inspiration, and it just comes whenever it feels like it. And so I received the inspiration for that one probably early 2020. It took a while because of what we've done worldwide. It took a while to gather all the authors. And I even doubted for a bit. I said, well, maybe this isn't meant to be. But this inspiration came to me in a dream. I dreamt that I was publishing a book about purpose. And then that's the first time that ever happened. And the next morning I got up and I call it my quiet time. In my quiet time, the title came forth. And then I started talking to people. Liza was the first one to come in and see my vision and come into the project. And like I said, it took longer than it ever has taken before to gather the contributing authors, but everyone who's supposed to be is here in the project. It's one of the most exciting I've ever had. I sold a book off at Amazon, and I have not promoted it at all. I have not promoted it. I have not put the Amazon link anywhere. And I looked in yesterday at a bookstore, and I'm like, oh, that's really nice. So, yeah, it's always surprising to me. And of course, I know that there's inspiration. I know that universe inspired us, God, whatever you want to call it. But whenever I get a new one, it's a surprise. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm just as thrilled as the first one. And this time it's such a beautiful collection of authors. Oh, also, what's been happening since this book has been published, something is happening. I had an author from the very first book. That book was published in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. That's a long, or 15. That's a long time ago. Out of the blue, she writes to me and says, "I need books for women's conference." And I was thinking, you know what? I wonder if anybody's ever going to order any more books. You know, the authors, there was 26 authors in that one. That was crazy. Out of the blue. And then authors from my last book, the Dear 5 book, also writes to me, and they haven't ordered books in forever. Oh, we need some books. We need some. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, people are coming out of the woodwork. I promoted this book for the other books. I'm like, I like that. So yeah, it's fun and it's exciting, and I love, you know, collaborating with people like you, with amazing, wonderful people with great stories. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, we were all talking about how, with you holding our hands to do this project and how you made it for us, it helped us all realize how you can do this. That's what the whole message is, that anyone can do this if they want to do this, right? I mean,
Yes.
truly, to write.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Or like Julie said, anything really. I mean, of course, we say everything, but even in writing per se. So you all, for parting thoughts, where can everyone find you? What parting thoughts do you have for the audience who will listen in later? Anything you all want to share?
Go,
ahead,
Kristian.
Mark. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I can be found at wellnesswithkristian.com. And then also, there's my email. And then Wellness with Kristian on Facebook or Instagram. And most of my clients are business owners or leading professionals who are looking for work-life balance. I just sort of fell into that niche, and it's been really inspiring for me to help others who are sort of looked up to. You know, I guess from a societal view, a business owner has a certain level of, I don't know, acumen or something in the eyes of society. So it's really cool to work with people who, you know, they're not, you know, they created something amazing with their lives, and now they're just trying to like push past the initial, like, here it is, I created this amazing business, and it's profitable and it works, but it's kind of killing me, you know. So to step in and help people get past those the beliefs they've been hanging on to that have never been real, you know, like that type of work, it just is super, super rewarding for me, and I'm thrilled and pretty lucky to be in that position.
Awesome.
Your turn, Julie.
I like how you said, and that you just, that niche just sort of flowed into you. See, the purpose is finding you. Yeah, flow. That's good.
Agreed.
I do several things. You know, I am a life and relationship coach, and I still have coaching clients. In fact, I had somebody contact me out of the blue from years ago, yesterday. And I created the Dare to Be Authentic radio show, which I thought I created so that I could be seen and heard, but it ended up I created a platform for others to be seen and heard. That was not my intention, but it's what happened, and it's been such a beautiful part of my life, and I'm blessed. I talk to amazing people every day. And then the books came along, and so I kind of have a trifold purpose to help people with the coaching, you know, in relationships, other areas of their life, to be able to promote people who have something wonderful to share, like all of you and so many other people. and then to create the book project so we can see even more than that. So I also have a tiny publishing company since I already published their book for people who want to publish their book and don't know where to go. So it's like you said, it kind of found me, each of them, and I kind of fought each of them along the way. I wasn't quite sure. And I remember I have a mentor. And when I started my radio show, I was like, I don't understand. I'm a coach. What am I doing a radio show host? He was like, do you like it? I said, yes. Do you meet wonderful people? Yes. Do you learn anything from them? Yes. He goes, what are you complaining about? I'm like, okay. So I think it's wonderful, and I want to encourage you to buy the book. If you don't have the book, buy it from your favorite author. There's a lot of us, and read the stories. They are so raw, they are so true, and they've been written with so much love because the purpose is to get you to a place where you can find your purpose. And the overall purpose of the book is for each of us to step into our purpose and make this world a better place. And this world needs to be a better place, especially right now.
Agreed.
Well, you can find me at Juli for Joy. That's my website, juliforjoy.com, my Facebook, Juli for Joy, Instagram, Juli for Joy, and I am rolling out a online Happy for No Reason program, Cultivating Inner Peace and Resilience, that's starting on September 22nd. You can find that on my website. And I also offer happiness coaching and sound healing to help shift, recover, restore yourself, transform, and to become a new you. I work on location and online and offer spiritual counseling also. Just trying to make the world a better place, one person at a time, joining people in their challenges, letting my challenges support theirs.
Awesome.
Thank you all so much for being on today. Thank you all, everyone, for tuning in to another episode, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Arti.
Thank you.